year, new team, it's the same dream. New Knicks City unis, boy, they stay clean. I just caught mine off of Fanatics in the garden with my hands in the air, we back at it.
What is going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. I know I'm feeling great. You know, we are fans of a champion, folks. The New York Knicks, the 2026 NBA champions. Boy. I don't know what to say, folks. It is unbelievable. I mean, really, that I don't know. What can we really say? It's remarkable. It's mind blowing. It's unbelievable. I'm gonna keep saying that because I don't know what else to say. It's still. I feel like it still hasn't set in yet. It still hasn't really hit me that the New York Knicks are the NBA champions. I don't know if I'll ever be able to really, understand what's happening. It's incredible. Phenomenal, folks. Phenomenal. I just want to say once again, we are blessed and highly favored to wake up another day, be a part of the earth, whatever it is. Please don't forget to check on your loved ones, family members, and friends. And also don't forget to get yourself checked because you never know, especially with these days, with all the excitement, everything happening. Make sure you take care of yourselves. This is like unbelievable. So, man, can't say enough about it. I hope you guys are all doing well out there. I appreciate y'all. Unfortunately, I couldn't do the show yesterday, so I figured let me see if I could do something today. I'm not used to coming on Tuesdays at 7 or whatever it is, so apologies for not really setting it up for everybody to be aware. But it is what it is. We just try to get it done, get a show out to really, show love and appreciate everything that's been happening. This has been a phenomenal time. I mean, it's unbelievable. I guess I gotta pinch myself because, guys, do you understand the types of issues that this New York franchise has had over the years? The humiliation that we've had to deal with as fans, the players have had to go through so much, being second guessed and laughed at behind their backs by their peers in around the league, ineptitude from the front office all the way down, issues with ownership back in the past because of not knowing or whatever it may be. Just everything that this franchise has had to go through to get to this point. And, we're here knowing that we are the 2026 NBA champions. Next year, when the season starts, people are going to look back and say the reigning champion is the New York Knicks. Wow. I mean, that's just crazy. What? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, what? Oh my God. It's crazy. Just crazy. Anyway, let me shout out some of y'all. Shout out to Crim's dad in the building. The eyes have it. Yes, they do. Appreciate you, my guy. Member of the SKF Army and someone who is stuck by me and stuck by this channel and the platform all season long through all of the ups and downs this New York Knicks team has put us through. But he's been there for the whole ride and been supportive, and I can't tell you how much it's meant, for everything you have done to support the channel and just always tuning in, letting me into your life, with regards to your plans with family and stuff like that. I can't say enough how special and how great a moment it's been to be here as a host of Still Nick Fan shows and get to meet people, talk to them verbally, or through text, Twitter fingers, whatever it may be. It's been a really fun ride. I mean, I can't put it into words too much, but you get my point. It's been a great time, and I really appreciate what this New York Knicks team has afforded me to be able to do, to be able to be up here and talking to y'all and having great conversations and dissecting what this New York Knicks team has done and what they continue to do and what they mean to all of us. It's like the culmination of it all coming to this point, actually getting to the top, and it's like, oh, wow, unbelievable. Appreciate you always, Crim's dad. Shout out to Lena Franklin, a member of the SKF Army. Man, hey, you guys, I'm so happy we did it, y'all. We are the champs. I'm so happy. I can't believe we finally did it all these years. We've been waiting for this moment. That's a fact. That's a fact. Appreciate you, Lena. Prezi the boss in the building. What up, Prezi? Said it's officially Taco Tuesdays for me. Taco meet out. I'm not wearing it for the rest of the week. Blue paint, baby. Ron voice. We are the champions, my friend. Q Queen. Yeah, man. What a moment, bro. What a moment. Yeah, gotta enjoy it. Gotta make the best of it, man. Like I said, we never know exactly when this is gonna happen again. Who knows? But right now, this is our time. This is our moment as fans to enjoy it. This is their moment as players, coaching staff, the whole shebang, the whole franchise, man. This is wonderful. Wonderful. Shout out to D Grant in the building. What up, D Grant? Says Ron, got to keep Mitch. If they lose him, they won't have a true rim protector. That's true. There's a lot of truth to that. So, the flip side is this is what's going to be real tricky for the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson is getting a lot of interest around the league. There's a lot of teams that are starting to pop up. Golden State has always been a team that has been interested. I mentioned something earlier in the season that Sacramento is interested. Now we see something came out today that the Lakers are interested. There's a lot of teams that are going to be interested in Mitchell Robinson's services. And there might be teams that can pay him more than the Knicks can offer. This is all going to come down to the relationship that Mitch feels like he has with the team. I think what's going to also play into it is the fact that the Knicks have been trying to stick by him throughout any personal struggles he may be having, and the support system is really important. I think Mitch can benefit from the familiarity of the organization and the guys, and I think that's something that he should heavily weigh. No one's trying to touch his money or take money out of his pocket, but I think he should really think about how much is enough for you to live comfortably and feel like you're getting most of, if not all of your worth, and how much is important to have that support system that you can rely on, that you're comfortable with, rather than going somewhere else for more M's and not knowing necessarily the structure or if the support base is going to be there in the same way for you. So those are the type of things that in Mitch's situation, he's really got to think of, because that's really important for him. So we'll see. But I know the Knicks would definitely love to keep Mitch. He was a big part of this team this year. He's been a big part of this team. He's grown up. He's matured in front of our eyes. And he's learned how to be a better player to help the team. And I think, I think he's starting to get it. I think he's getting it as far as how he can be a better person for himself. Now, that withstanding, we don't know the personal issues he's dealing with or what's triggered those, but I do think that, it's something he has to heavily weigh. He has to weigh if this is the place for him, or of the toxicity of how quick moving New York is and how, pressure packed the situation is. Is it too much for him? We don't know. I mean, obviously we know he succeeded, but in the grand scheme of things, the most important thing is that he has the right mental and that he feels comfortable. After that's established, then you can worry about the money. In my opinion, that's what I think. But who am I? Joey Rip 'em Up Sports in the building. What's good, my brother? Thank you for being a member of the SKF Army. Says Ron O'Neal. We did it. We did do it, didn't we? Let's go, baby. We are champions. Yes, we did. That's right. That's right. Now that's funny. Mike Brown got De'Aaron Fox fired. Now that's funny. How ironic is that, folks? I find irony in everything that took place this season. The fact that Mike Brown was fired because of, some people say because of De'Aaron Fox and the issues that he had in Sacramento. The fact that everything that Mike Brown was complaining about with regards to De'Aaron Fox reared its ugly head in the series, and San Antonio got to witness it firsthand. The fact that Becky Hammon criticized Jalen Brunson for not being a one in the league, not being a 1 or a 1A and being able to lead a team to a championship. And then ironically, he leads the team to a championship playing her former team that she coached. The irony is all over the place, folks. I mean, the New York Knicks won their first ever NBA Cup versus the San Antonio Spurs. And then they wind up winning their first championship in 53 years versus the San Antonio Spurs. The irony. Jalen Brunson scores 62 points in an NBA game. Wembanyama at the end of the game takes the ball and throws the ball in the stands. Jalen Brunson looks over to him like he can't believe he just did that. I just did something historical. Maybe I want the ball for my own purposes. What do? You take the ball and throw it in the stands. Jalen Brunson never forgot that. What happens? Winds up playing him in the NBA Finals and busting that ass 4-1. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, it just irony all over the place, folks. Irony all over the place. You just can't make it up. It's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Shout out to Kareem Grant in the building. What up, Kareem? What up, twin? Salute to you. Thank you for being a member of the SKF Army. Says salute champ and Ron and to the chat. Appreciate you, my brother. Bagger Jones is in the building. To be honest, Ron, Mitch can go. He is unplayable when he can't hit a free throw. He is replaceable. I mean, I get it, Bagger. There's things that you would love that could be improved upon in Mitch's game. But listen, what you can't take away from Mitch is what he does do well. And that is so important for the Knicks. The Knicks don't have a rim protector really without Mitch. Now, I will say, Cat did step up in these playoffs. He played much better individual defense as well as team defense and gave the Knicks a little bit more rim protection. So now, if I'm not saying the Knicks are thinking this way, but if the Knicks are thinking, hey, Cat has shown that he can step up and at least be a threat for people. It's not sneaky. Like you ain't just going to get up in there and think you got everything, open. Cat is actually being a deterrent. Knicks might think, hey, maybe we can afford to let Mitch go and go out and get ourselves a cheaper version of Mitch or a cheaper rim protector who maybe can do a couple other things that can benefit the team, and we can rely on Cat. They might think that because Cat has stepped up. We don't know. But what I will say is Cat got one of the biggest offensive rebounds in NBA history. Cat got one of the biggest offensive rebounds in his career to help this team win Game 5 and become NBA champions. You know what I mean? You can't necessarily write him off because he's been very important. And he came up in one of the biggest moments. Well, there's something to think about. Shout out to my guy, Stephen L.H. I know what it stands for. That's my partner. That's my brother. Shout out to him. He says, not a Knicks fan, but major congrats to you, Knicks fans. Really happy for New York City. Love how it's brought everyone together. That's a fact. You know, not for nothing, people. I got to tell you, the city has been beautiful. It's such a vibe, an aura in the air. I'm walking past. Now, today, I didn't wear any Knicks gear, right? Because I was like, you know what? I'm going to chill today. I'm going to relax. But, you know, the other days since they won, when I was wearing my stuff, I'm getting stopped by everybody. Everybody's like, yeah, we did it. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah. Some people that aren't Knicks fans, congrats, yo. I'm like, what is happening? What is this? Somebody put a writ on me? Is witchcraft? What's happening? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Right now is the best time to get a loan from one of your friends, yo. They Knicks fans, hit them up. No, I'm just joking. But seriously, it's beautiful. It's beautiful times. And I'll be quite honest, and not to make light of a terrible tragedy, but you guys know, you guys remember New York City and New York in general after 9/11, and everything that this place went through. It brought a lot of us together. Unfortunately, tragedy does do that in some cases. And we were just a lot better, a lot nicer to each other, a lot more caring and understanding. People were opening doors, walking old ladies across the street, saying hello. That was just so different here. And I'm not saying we're to that level, but I will say people have been a lot nicer. People have been really, really good. Really good. It's been nice to see. So shout out to the New Yorkers, man. Facts. Allah Wise is in the building. What up, Allah? Said, peace, Ron. We did it. Yes, we did, bro. Yes, we did. Allah understands, man. Allah was here when we first started still Knicks fans. Those are some tough years. Those are some wild times right there. We were going through it. But, you know, to witness this now, it's unbelievable. Dan Litz in the building. What up, Dan? Good to see you. Preach. You know, congrats to us. That's a fact, Dan. Good to see you, bro. I'm so happy that you are here, man. You understand, you get it. You know what we've been through. You've been on the show. You've chopped it up. It's been a wild time. My guy, Robert Ruza in the building. Salute. What up, brother? Hey, man. Yeah, listen, one of these times, bro, unbelievable. And shout out to Rob, man. Rob is a good dude. You know, we met when I moved to Maryland. You know, I lived there for a year and met a couple really good people. Rob Bruiser was one of those people. Got to meet him, spend some good time working with him, and just outside of work, went to a Ravens game. It was fun times, man. Really, really, really fun. And got to meet his family. And honestly, you know, it's unfortunate. Time has passed. We haven't really got together. I mean, he's got kids that are grown now, like they're growing in front of my eyes. I haven't really got to meet them, and they don't know who I am really, you know. But you know, time is time, man. And I wouldn't trade these moments for anything. Just to be able to meet people and understand that, you know, this is the type of stuff that shapes your life. These moments and stuff. And I'm glad that Robert has been around, man. I appreciate you, bro. Seriously, we got to get together again. Lonnie Meeks is in the building. Said we beat the Spurs, the king of the tanks, Robinson, Tim Duncan, Wemby. Ooh, I see what you did there. Well, I mean, you know, I don't know. Robinson and Tim Duncan. I mean, Tim Duncan had a dynasty going on over there. I mean, I don't know. You know. We won for this Mace. Shout out to Mets 2128. What up, Mets? Soda can V. I said, yeah, right. It's Ruse in the skies. What up, bro? I mean, listen, that's not terrible. Although I do think that we got Hartenstein, like we got to realize Hartenstein isn't great either. He's better than Mitch in certain aspects, but he's got some flaws too. You know what I mean? But if look, I wouldn't be mad if Mitch came back and Hartenstein was here. Like, to be honest with you, if we could get Hartenstein on the cheap, he already got some money from OKC. He living all right. If we could get him for the cheap, woo-wee. I don't think so, but I'm just saying. D Grant says, Ron, also I think Knicks need a good backup PG. I do not want to see Brunson doing it all like that. I agree. But, the other thing too is Alvarado showed some really good things. And as the season progressed, he got more and more playing time. So, they already got him for the cheap. Maybe something happens where they finagle something and keep Alvarado around. You know what I mean? Well, we don't know. We'll see. Congrats on an amazing run. So happy. Love you, bro. Same, bro. Appreciate you, my guy. Always, man. And tell the family I said, hey. Still Knick fans. My partner in crime, my brother. Yo, what up, John? Says, yo, Ron, we are the 2026 NBA champs. Yes, we are, brother. Yes, we are. It still hasn't set in yet. I'm still like, now I'm feeling it a little bit more, but I can't until the parade happens on Thursday. Then it's gonna come full circle, folks. Long Island Sound in the building. Yo, repeat is cooking. Stay hungry. Stay tuned. Let's go. David Smith is in the building. What up, David? Good to see you. Randu is here. What up, Randu? Good to see you, my brother. Q Burrow, mad thorough, brother, in the building. What up? Says something, Ron, or should I say champ? What a run by them boys. Facts, man. Yo, I don't see the wild thing is, and this is how you know this is something special. Even the biggest haters out there know that something is different with the New York Knicks winning the championship. Paul Pierce's of the world, even they got nothing to say. All they can do is eat their words. All they can do. And then some people are like, you know what? I don't like the Knicks. I really don't like the fans. But it's kind of dope that the Knicks won. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing from the haters. Can you imagine? I don't like them. I don't like them. But it's kind of dope. It's wild. Crim's dad, tickets to the parade. Knicks are charging $5,000 for the entrance. Oh man. I know, Randu. It really hasn't, like I said, it's there and I get it and I know it, but it hasn't set in until I see the parade on Thursday. When I see all the people, all the orange and blues and the Knicks coming down on the floats and Mamdani addressing them and them doing their until that happens, I don't know. I can't. That's when it's really gonna set in. No. The Crims is just joking. The parade and all that stuff is free, folks. So make sure you're out there. I mean, I hope to see all of y'all. I don't know how that would happen, but it would definitely be nice. You know what I mean? It would definitely be special. I'm gonna be out there somewhere. I'm trying. That's all I can say. I'm trying. Yeah. All right. So D. Grant says, Ron, I like Allen Wiggins, point guard or OKC. I think his contract is up. I mean, I'm not mad at it. And yeah, listen, Knicks got to explore all avenues. And also they also have to figure out what they're going to do with some of these young players. Listen, I know some of y'all ain't going to want to hear that. But the Knicks do have to figure out what they're going to do with some of these young players, right? Is it worth it to hold on to Tyler Kolek if you bring back Alvarado, right? If you don't bring back Alvarado, is it worth it to promote Tyler Kolek? Like, they got to figure all this out. It's got to make sense. I mean, it's only right. It's about these players growing, right, and being part of something. And if they're not going to grow here, they got to grow somewhere else. But is this the time that they get a chance to grow? What are they going to do with Pacom Dadier? Diawara is going to be here. But what are they going to do with Pacom Dadier? Like, what happens there? This is the type of stuff you got to ask. David Smith says, run it back with the starters, which, they're doing that. Well, except we don't know about Mitch. We still got to figure that out. Re-sign Shamet. That's a possibility. And promote Kolek. That's something. What do they do with Deuce? That's another thing. What do they do with Deuce? I mean, I'd love to see Deuce back. I don't know. When you look at Deuce, do you say this one finals appearance where he was terrible for the whole finals, does that take away from all of his value from what he's done for the Knicks over the years and what he did in the beginning part of the playoffs in other series? I don't know. That's the type of thing they got to look at. They got to, but the other thing that's tougher with Deuce is that Deuce has never made real money, right? Mitchell Robinson has made real money. He's gotten 14, 15, 16 million a year. Deuce has not got that. So if Deuce gets an offer for some team, Deuce might not be in a position to say no, folks. Like, because, guys like that are on the fringe, you don't see big money a lot. So when you get it, you got to take it. And I don't know if the Knicks can offer up the money that Deuce might command if people are just looking out at his overall value, his price point now, and what he could do in an expanded role. Because the other thing is, Deuce could be ready to be a starter somewhere. Some team might take a shot on him and say, you know what, I can see how we could use Deuce. He has good defense and the length, even though he's a shorter guy, that wingspan, 6'9" wingspan, whatever it is, being able to knock down shots. And the only thing that's really, look, I'm going to say this again about Deuce. You guys know he is one of my favorite players. The only thing that continues to have derailed Deuce is consistency on the court, like being healthy. Every time he gets hurt, he comes back and he struggles. So, we'll see. I would love to see Deuce here, but I don't want to see Deuce here just for the sake of having him here. You know what I mean? Like, I need Deuce to, at this point now, I need Deuce to continue to grow and become a better player. If he's not going to take that step with the Knicks because the Knicks have too many people ahead of him, then I'd rather Deuce go somewhere else and be able to have a chance to have a good NBA career and start making some money to support his family, and the Knicks can go somewhere else and find somebody else they can plug in that can give them exactly what they need at maybe a cheaper price point, or someone that they feel gives them more consistency when it comes to certain things. That's all I'm saying. But you guys, I love Deuce, so I would love to keep him here. But it just has to make sense for the team. And Deuce has to continue to get better. Shout out to Endgame. He says, I think he can get more money elsewhere. Yeah, I mean, most likely he will. Bagger Jones says, Ron, what are we going to do with the draft picks? We are already a stacked team. I don't know, brother. But hey, remember when I said we got to figure out what we're going to do with these young kids? Well, this is going to be the time where they have to figure out what they're going to do, because they might draft somebody that is more talented than Dadier. And you got to make a choice with Dadier. They might draft somebody that's more talented than Kolek. They might get a point guard on the draft that's a bucket, and they can play defense and break down dudes, take them to the Baja. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We don't know. We don't know. It's a great problem to have, especially when you're coming off of the championship. You know what I mean? Like, nothing they can really do could really upset the fans because they won. They did it, folks. We can't be mad. Everything they've done Everything we've second guessed, everything we were questioning has worked. They did it. Leon Rose did it. Mike Brown did it. The players did it. We can't be mad. That's true. But does he give them exactly what they need? I don't know. And what do they need? What exactly do they want in a backup point guard now? Like maybe they might say that they're happy with Alvarado. You never know. We got to see. Randu says, "Hey Ron, are we going to be able to call in tonight?" Unfortunately, not Randu. I have a issue with my provider, and I don't think I'm going to be able to fix it. So I'm going to have to look into switching to somebody new. But what I can do is, if you want to say something, I can put the link out and have you come up backstage, and you can talk for like 5 minutes, like a phone call. We can do that. I can do something like that. So we'll see. Hey, Blaze Brown in the building said, "What up, Ron? Respect my brother. We are the 2026 NBA champs." Yes, we are, brother. Yes, we are. Unbelievable. Sadu Barry in the building. Malik Thomas can sub for Bridges, Hart, or Deuce. That's interesting. And by the way, also, I do want to say I haven't got into the draft stuff yet, but we will be having a draft special. We're going to break down the different choices that can appear around the time that the Knicks will be able to draft. It's tough with the Knicks because the Knicks is always trading people around. So every time you think you know where they're going to pick, they be moving people around. The other thing is they're just coming off an NBA championship. And so do they want to draft anybody? Don't know. But I do think the Knicks might have to draft people because of the fact of the implications with the salary cap and not being able to really go out there and add too much. Not that they really feel like they need to, because they obviously, I think they want to run it back. And why wouldn't they? The NBA champions. But you always want to improve on, things on the team. So we'll see what they do. It's funny you mentioned him, David Smith. I'm about to get into some conversation about him in a little bit. Shout out to Yuri in the building. What up, my brother? I hear you, bro. I hear you, man. Pierre Moise in the building. What up, Pierre? Good to see you, brother. John says, "Ron, what are your thoughts on Oakley attending Game 5 at San Antonio?" Listen, I will say this. There's two parts to this that I feel are important. First off, I think James Dolan is being a little spiteful with Charles Oakley. I think at some point they really should have gotten together and squashed this whole beef because, this should have been a joyous moment for all former Knicks, especially someone like Oakley who has done a lot for this team. He may not have got them to the championship, but technically, but he was always a big piece of them being a perennial playoff team. And I just think that James Dolan might be a little spiteful and a little petty. But I think what we don't understand as fans is the type of friendship that James Dolan and Charles Oakley had. Because apparently they were really good friends. Like, we could say what we want, but if those two dudes knew each other and would chill and talk and do all types of, that's different. So if they feel a certain way or about each other and however they act, then who are we to question it? It is what it is, right? The flip side though is that's the positive side for Oakley. The negative side for Oakley is that Oakley's got too much mouth, right? Oakley is not humble. Like, Oakley has never really been apologetic about the situation that happened in the Garden. If anything, he's just portrayed himself as the victim. The flip side of it is Oakley might have had some personal demons, some drinking issues. He was acting a little funky that day, even though maybe he was at a certain point, he got, felt a certain like threatened and pushed and all types and disrespected. But prior to that point, he was acting a little heavy. So, there's something to that. And the other thing is, Oakley has also said some stuff that he didn't need to say. Patrick Ewing shouldn't be catching any strays in this situation. If Oakley feels a certain way about Patrick Ewing because maybe he felt like Patrick should have came to his defense and stuck up for him, that's his own opinion. But Patrick has been a good dude throughout most of this. So why throw him in and say some negative stuff about Patrick Ewing? I feel like Oakley he doesn't know when to shut up. His mouth likes to run. He's always been that way since he was a player. Charles Barkley used to be that way too, but Charles Barkley became a broadcaster, analyst, whatever you want to call it, and learned how to be more professional with his words. He can still say some stuff that only Charles can say, but he learned how to be more professional at it and just think a little bit more. So when he says something, he chose to say it, and you just have to deal with it. Oakley be just flying off the hip when he says stuff, and I think he doesn't take into account, the type of damage it does, And so, like I said, it's two parts. It's the part about Dolan feeling a certain way, and it's the part about Oakley not really learning or taking any. He has never taken any approach to saying, hey, maybe I was wrong about something, but I didn't need to be treated this way. I've never heard that. And I could be wrong, guys. If y'all heard it, y'all can school me to it. I have not heard an apologetic Charles Oakley. So, that's how I feel about it, bro. It was good for him to be there, though. He made the trip to San Antonio where he's not banned, and he enjoyed the Knicks becoming champions. I'm happy he got to see that and witness it. I just wish things were different. Let me see here. Okay. D. Grant said, I was looking at the old videos of the 1970s Knicks, and man, they had a very good team. They went to the final 70, 72, 73 the last time and played LA in all of them. Yeah, LA was, listen, back in the day, LA and Boston, monsters, bro. Crazy. I know they weren't the best of friends, but they went through the trenches together. You know what I mean? Like those two were a part of a lot together. Even when the Knicks made changes, when they brought in Anthony Mason, when we got Xavier McDaniel, when we got trying to figure out, there was, I can't think of his name. Kind of reminds me of Quincy Acey, but this was older, way before him. Oh, anyway, the bottom line is Oakley was the constant for most of that. So Oakley and Ewing were always together. But it is what it is, man. When you in sports, sometimes not everybody gets along, but they can accomplish things because of how they play together and what matters on the court. However, you think about it, you take a page from these New York Knicks right now, when everybody is gelling, when everybody has a good chemistry, when they do, big each other up and look for each other on the court like a team, you see the difference. We won a championship. So maybe it's a little better to get along with your teammates. Maybe it's more beneficial. Just a thought. Charles Smith was there too. Yep. He's not who I was thinking of, but he is another one to bring up. I can't remember his name, man. He was dark-skinned, like a tough player. I can't remember who he was, but it'll come to me eventually. Yes, Phil Jackson was on one of those 70 squads. That's correct. Yep. That's right. Okay. Well, let's do this, folks. Let me get to this real quick. And this is what I like to call the road to an NBA championship. You know what I mean? Because this thing didn't happen overnight. It took some time. Anthony Bonner. Look at Ron Bees. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, Ron Bees. Let's go, baby. Anthony Bonner. Yes, man. Thank you. That's why I appreciate the chat. The chat is always getting me right, man. Appreciate y'all, for real. Shout out to Ron Bees. All right. Here we go, folks. The road to an NBA championship. It didn't happen overnight. It took some time. You know what I mean? But, we questioned a lot of things that happened with this New York Knicks team, but it was one of those that was a progression. A progression. Shout out to them, man, for getting it done. The Knicks in March 2nd of 2020 hired Leon Rose. That was step number one, in my opinion. This man changed everything around, folks. Now, we can't forget that Scott Perry and Steve Mills did start doing some savvy stuff to start acquiring picks so that the Knicks could be in a better position moving forward, so that we can have some cachet to make some moves, to whether it be able to stockpile picks to acquire talent, or to stockpile picks so that we could draft players to help the team. And you guys know the method we chose for the most part. But, shout out to Steve Mills and Scott Perry, because they had a lot to do with that. They definitely helped us to get to a point where Leon Rose came in. He had something to work with. But Leon Rose was the architect. We got to give him a lot of credit for coming into the situation, understanding and knowing, hey, I don't know everything, but I am going to try to put the best possible people that I can get here to head up all of these different divisions of the organization so that we run like a functional place and we become better. And then as this happens, as he's putting all these people in place, he's learning from all of them. Also, let's not forget, he brought over his guy, Worldwide Wes, Mr. Relationships. Gotta give that part credit too, because Worldwide Wes, knowing a lot of players from agent days and being that guy who really talks to the players and gets comfortable with them and has created relationships where he's done right for a lot of these guys. That's important. That's important. Leon Rose has been an agent for many, many years, head of an agency. But it's always nice to have those people that actually go out and do the talking and make stuff happen, get it to a certain point. Worldwide Wes is, he's been that guy. So we can't forget that. So you guys know the Knicks were struggling. We went through, tons and tons of coaches. Jeff Hornacek, Kurt Rambis, Derek Fisher. Boy. Oof. Wow. Like all of this stuff that has taken place. Fizdale. Oh my God. Whew. I'm not going to bring up the people that I consider good coaches. I'm talking about the coaches that were a little wild. Never really getting to the point where we had stability or a culture. So Leon Rose said, you know what? First thing I got to do is make sure I get a coach in here that is going to change everything around. What'd he do? In 2020, he hires Tom Thibodeau. Tibbs comes in, gives the Knicks a defensive identity, teaches them how to play ball on a much more organized level, how to lock in, how to stop being so all over the place and learn a system. Even if the system, offensively was vanilla, defensively, he had principles and game-to-game adjustments that were rock solid. I didn't say in-game adjustments, folks. Game-to-game adjustments that were rock solid. Tibbs came in here, did his stint of like 5 years, took this team to the playoffs, had them progressing each and every year. The only thing that we can say, the one year that derailed the team was the year that all the players for the most part got hurt. Knicks had like 6 or 7 functional players on the whole damn roster. Everybody was getting hurt, dropping like flies. That's the one year that some of us might say we wish we could have had a do-over, because who knows what could have happened. That was the first year of OG Anunoby. Who knows what could have happened that first year? But got to give credit to Tibbs. Tibbs, created the infrastructure for this team to move as a solid unit, to have principles, to be diligent, to understand fundamentals better, and really lock in. It made all of them better. That's one thing you cannot take away from this team. From Tibbs, should I say. He made the team better. He made the team functional, and he gave the team an identity, right? The question was, could he get the team all the way? We didn't know. We had to let it play out. I think the Knicks gave Tibbs a lot of time to figure out if that was going to be the case. And he did do some really special things. Let's not front. We did get to the Eastern Conference Finals last year with Tibbs. Now, we also got to see that when we got to the Eastern Conference Finals, we didn't stack up to a team like Indiana that played team basketball, and we were isolation, individual heavy. We couldn't hang with them. We had a vanilla offense, no deception. They knew exactly how to defend us, and we couldn't do anything about it. So that was an eye-opening moment. I think James Dolan, and maybe James Dolan should have been the first person I started this with, because he changed. If this had been the same James Dolan from like 12 years ago, I don't know if this Knicks team could have won the championship. James Dolan had to change and become a better owner, a better person with regards to his mental, because he had to accept that he didn't know everything. James Dolan had to accept that he wasn't the smartest guy in the room when it came to basketball. Or, there's plenty of smart people in that room that he needed to learn to listen to. So that was important. Got to give James Dolan credit for changing and evolving as an owner and realizing I got to do better, because we ain't never going to win if I don't start opening up the pockets and bringing in the right people to turn this thing around. Outside of that, going back to Leon Rose and the moves he made, the next move, which was very important, is that he signed Jalen Brunson. I should have put the Jalen Brunson right above that, but you get it. He signed Jalen Brunson, the captain, who wasn't the captain at the time. Jalen Brunson came into this organization with everybody questioning his worth and his value. Everybody's like, hey, it's nice to have a guy like this, but, this ain't going to be the guy to get us to the champs. We ain't going to be the winners of everything with Jalen Brunson at the helm. You know what I mean? Who is Jalen Brunson? Well, one thing about Jalen Brunson that he has showed and we knew is that everywhere he's been a winner. And whenever he had it to, in his control, he got his team to the pinnacle. High school championship, 2 college championships. And it was just about him being able to get it done in the NBA. He wasn't the man in Dallas. He was behind Luka. But whenever he had a moment to step up, when Luka was out, Luka hurt, and they needed somebody, Jalen Brunson stepped up. He showed that he could be a leader of men, and no moment was too big for him. Came to New York City, and since he's been in New York, all they've done is win. That's it. Jalen Brunson has dealt with the naysayers, being a small guard, not being able to lead a team to a championship because the odds are stacked against him. All he's done is win at every level. All he's done is take the New York Knicks from being a laughingstock, a turnstile of point guards, to having stability, winning mentality, and winning on the highest level. Having the rest of the NBA talk about Brunson, like, is this dude an MVP? This dude is a bucket. Look at his footwork. Look what he can do. Brunson became that guy. And the Knicks have not been the same. They've become a championship contending team and now a championship winner. They are the champs, folks. Jalen Brunson helped pave that way. He helped pave that way. One of the biggest moves in New York Knicks history. Then we said, hey, we need high IQ players. We got to get better here. Some of the moves and moments that we've done in the past, we've seen that guys didn't have it. So this is an interesting point, guys. Some of our young players were kind of playing like the Spurs players that we saw, not knowing what to do, making poor, decisions, turnovers, not knowing how to clamp down. The Knicks did not have the type of players that could put teams away. We struggled at that. We had to change up the infrastructure, change up the idea, get some high IQ players in here. Traded for Josh Hart, folks. Josh, hey, I'm available. I'm ready and willing. My guy Jalen's over there. Pops is over there too. I didn't mention Rick Brunson because I know that's one of those that's a little bit more controversial. But Rick Brunson has been a big piece of this too. And I didn't see it as much before, but I see it now. It seemed like Rick Brunson was more of a calming, stable voice for Jalen. Now he's become that for the whole team. Now they've expanded to the point where they listen to Rick Brunson on the whole, and he has come up with good coaching ideas, and he has been the person that can really light a fire under the rest of the team. So Rick Brunson's role has expanded, and he's flourished in that. But Josh said, hey, my guy's over there. I'm going. Get me over there. And we brought in Josh Hart. And Josh Hart came in with the grit, the determination. Loose balls on the floor, Josh is on the ground. Rebounds you need, Josh is going to get it. You need a shot, and I'm wide open, I'm going to take it. You know what I mean? You need somebody to push the pace, get to the hole, get us out there in transition. Josh Hart. You need somebody to make a tough defensive play, to put his body on the line, steal the ball, foul somebody if need be, play physical with them. Josh Hart. Josh helped change. Now, some people still say the Knicks can be soft at times because we're a little finessey. Josh has helped change that to an extent, at least. He's given us more toughness. Shout out to Josh Hart. So I've already talked to you about these moves that Leon Rose has made. He's the architect, right? He's done stuff to change how this team moves, and he's done it at a high level. Oh, and by the way, for some of y'all that don't know what Gerson Rojas looks like, Rosas, that's him. That's him. Because he also came over, right? Hired Gerson Rojas. Can't forget him. And, the interesting thing about Gerson is that no one really questioned him in his capacity to help run an organization. The problem that derailed Gerson in Minnesota is that he got into some extracurricular activities, his personal life, and they had to get him up out of there. But no one said that he didn't do a good job when he was there. So the Knicks were very fortunate that his controversies allowed him to be available so that the Knicks could get him over here. So something to think about. because Gerson, his role continued to expand, and he became the shot caller and Leon's right hand man. Doing draft scouting, talking to players, you know, getting deals done, the trades and stuff that have happened. Gerson Rojas has been a big part of that. Actually initiating and seeing things through. Shout out to him. Once again, another impeccable move by the New York Knicks and Leon Rose. Now I got to get to, some might say, the second most important move that the Knicks have made outside of Jalen Brunson. The Knicks bring in OG Anunoby. Traded two beloved Knicks in Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett and bring in OG Anunoby. The blue-collar guy who plays incredible defense, gives you everything out there on the court, wanted to be a bigger, better offensive player, wanted to be in a situation where he could show that he could do more out there. And he has done it, folks. It took him a while to get here, but OG Anunoby's game has gotten better and better every year to the point where now he is a legitimate two-way player that people do have to watch and fear on the court, because you don't know if he's going to give you 15 or he can drop 25. He could drop 30 on you while playing impeccable defense. OG Anunoby has become an incredible basketball player, well worth the money. And not to mention, you guys know, I don't know what it is right now. I have not took a look at it, but you guys remember OG Anunoby had one of the best plus minuses of any player in the NBA of being with a team. When he's out there with the Knicks, the Knicks win more often than not, folks. He has changed everything. You needed OG here. You couldn't just bring in somebody like Jalen and not give him some help. All right. So we say to ourselves, and each season we learn more and more, right? They bring in OG. They go on an incredible run. I believe they won 14 games in a row in the month of January. And then OG gets hurt. What are you going to do? Happens. Deal with some other stuff. Randall gets hurt. We also acquired Dante DiVincenzo, who definitely helped us that season. But I'm not bringing up Dante because he's not here on this team, on this championship team right now. That's the only reason. I love me some Dante. So you look at the situation and the season goes by and you're like, man, what are we gonna do? What's next for this team? Like, you're hoping for the best, but you don't quite know what's gonna happen because the Knicks have never been here before. They're learning how to become a better team. And unfortunately, what happens is they start dropping like flies, folks. The Knicks start dropping like flies when they actually have a great chance to make some noise. That we were. This is probably the best we've ever felt about a New York Knicks team when they made the move for OG, having Josh here, having Jalen here, the way Randall was playing. I mean, we were like, whoa. And especially when they had won 14 in a row, everybody was like, who knows what this Knicks team can do? You got to watch them. And then everybody got hurt. Everybody got hurt. Playing with a skeleton crew. Knicks, all these guys are playing 40-plus minutes. It was nuts. So, in that situation, the Knicks get behind the eight ball. They're like, man, everybody's hurt. We got no backups. We can't do anything. Our bench is not strong enough to fix this situation. And then why is everybody getting hurt? That's the other thing. Why? What do the Knicks do? 2024, they hired the guru of medicine, Casey Smith, one of the best doing it in the NBA, been with Dallas for many years. His practice has been phenomenal throughout the NBA. He's highly touted, highly regarded. This man changed everything, folks. This man right here, Casey Smith, changed everything. He became the guy that put people on the proper regimen. They tried to do different things. They had all the guys bulking up and to see if that could help them. Then when that didn't help him, he had all the guys slimming down and eating better, becoming leaner, putting less strain and less torque on their ankles and limbs. And he has got this Knicks team to be the healthiest it's been in my history of watching the Knicks. Not for nothing. The other thing too is how remarkable it is it to watch Jalen Brunson or any of the guys go down, have injuries that look like they could be devastating, and watch them come back in the game, 20 minutes later or at halftime. I don't know what they do in the back, but they work miracles back there. I'm sure Casey Smith has got the Mr. Miyagi going, folks. I don't know what he got happening. He's like, Daniel, son, I need this for OG and Jalen. I don't know what he does, but Casey Smith has been the man. You got that happening. Changing the culture. And what happens? The next year, the Knicks are the healthiest they've ever been. Casey Smith wins Medical Trainer of the Year. What? You kidding me? The Knicks, baby, pushing all the right buttons. Shout out to Leon Rose, man. Unbelievable. This one was like the worst kept secret ever. People are trying to say the Knicks are tampering, all this stuff. Everybody's like, man, you know what the Knicks could use? Another wing that can play defense and give them some points when needed. So what do they say? Let's go out there and get Mikal Bridges. And a controversial move because the Knicks had to pay the Knick tax. They give up 5 first-round picks. As I've said before, folks, a two-way player of Mikal Bridges' magnitude is worth 3 first-round picks, in my opinion. Because you are dealing with your hometown rival in the Brooklyn Nets, I felt like they were going to ask for another pick. So you would have to give 4 picks. Finally, because this is going to change our franchise and make us worse, and we're going to have to watch you command all of the back pages of New York, and we're going to make you better. Give us 1 more pick. 5 first-round picks. That's how it happened, folks. In my opinion, that's how it went down. Mikal Bridges comes into the scene. Immediately, we start to look at him and say, is he the answer? But he doesn't quite find his footing right away. He struggles a little bit. His shot is broken. You know what I mean? So for some reason, somebody told him to mess with his shot. Whoever told him that, I don't know why. And then he couldn't shoot. Took him a minute to get right. He finally did get right and played better, but never really showed the fans that he was worth 5 first-round picks. Until we get to the playoffs last year and really got to see him step up and do what needs to be done at high-pressure situations. The way he, made last-ditch efforts throughout the season. He hit some big shots. He hit a game. I think he had 1 or 2 game winners. He had big blocks in the regular season. One on Vucevic against the Bulls to win a game. Obviously, we know what he did versus Boston in 2 games. Right place, right time, Mikal Bridges, playoff Bridges. And then this year, we got to see our guy Bridges have an 8-game streak of shooting like 65 to 68% from the field. The first time it's ever been done by a non-big man in the NBA playoffs. He made history. Talk about the picks. But once again, it's right place, right time, Mikal Bridges. Playoff Bridges. Shout out to him. So that happens. We kind of know what's going on. Everybody's starting to say, boy, this is going to be incredible. The Villanova 4, right? Why don't they bring back Arcidiacono and make it the Villanova 5, right? So it's Dante, it's Mikal, it's Brunson, and it's Josh. And everybody's making shirts and hats and all types of stuff, but the Villanova 4, it's going to be incredible. And then we get the shock of a lifetime, folks. New York Knicks have traded Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo for Karl Anthony Towns. No one saw this coming, folks. And if you did see it coming, you're lying. Yes, the Knicks have always threw out Karl Anthony Towns' name. They've always liked Karl Anthony Towns, but they've always liked Devin Booker. They've always thrown out his name. They've talked about Embiid. Nobody saw them actually trading for Karl Anthony Towns. But then it happened, folks. And some of us loved it, but we were like cautious. And then we were upset. Not so much that Julius was traded for him, but that we were losing Dante. It's like, is there any way we could have kept Dante? That would have been phenomenal. But unfortunately, Minnesota wanted Dante. And when you think about it, as I said before, Leon Rose learned from the Donovan Mitchell trade. When you got the guy you want and you have to give up something to get him, give it up. Give it up. Because Karl Anthony Towns is one of the best, if not the best, shooting big men in the NBA or in NBA history. 40, 50, 90. 40, 50, 90 from an NBA big man. You could not pull the trigger and make it happen. Of course, Karl gets here. He goes through, that first month or so, it was like software. He was getting buckets. He was charging the paint. He was dunking on people. He was yelling at people. Everybody's like, yeah, Karl Anthony Towns is the man, cat, bodega cat. And then after that first month of euphoria, finished, he went back into just settling in, getting comfortable, having fun. But I guess he had a little too much fun because then the fans and the haters started to pick at him for his mannerisms, for his voice. And, it got to be crazy. But we got through that season. He helped us get to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in like 23 years or 25 years. Or 27 years. I don't remember. You get it. The bottom line is, got there. And he was a big part of it. He had one of the best offensive seasons of anybody in the NBA. And he became like the best rebound. I believe he was averaging 13 rebounds a game for the season. Right? So all that happens. And you're just like, hey, man, what can you do? It's a situation. They did what they needed to do. They get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and everybody's like, hey, man, this team did something that they've never done before, and we should be happy. Oh, whoa. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What we were not prepared for, what we were not aware of, is that there were some issues behind the scenes. Players were not happy with the way Tom Thibodeau was coaching them, with the way he was not necessarily listening to their thoughts, their ideas, not being willing to, accept their feedback. That's what happened, folks. That's what happens. And the players were the ones that got Tom Thibodeau up out of here. They were the ones that said, we need something different, and made the front office, James Dolan included, look at the situation and say, you know what? We might have to make a change. We went through an extensive process trying to figure out who we could bring in to get to the promised land. And, they went through a whole bunch of people. You guys know I had my favorites. Mike Brown was on the list, but I didn't think that he was necessarily going to be the choice. I was saying to myself, hey, if it's Mike Brown, I'll be okay with it, but he wasn't my number one choice. But that's what they did. New York Knicks said, you know what? We need to make a move. Let's hire Mike Brown. Let's get somebody in here who has experience, understands what it takes to get there, and maybe needs an opportunity to prove himself to the rest of the league and to the fans that he can do it. So they hire Mike Brown. Mike Brown comes in here and tries to do some different things. But one of the things that Mike Brown brought with him was the ability to be open-minded, the ability to make adjustments on the fly, not game-to-game adjustments, in-game adjustments, right? The ability to listen to the players, the ability to listen to his fellow coaches, and the willingness to understand that he doesn't have all the answers. This is what Mike Brown did for this team. This is what Mike Brown did for this organization. He brought in a fantastic coaching staff. The Knicks went after the best of the best that they could find. They tried to interview everybody and their mama, and everybody was like, what is going on? But they had a plan. They said, we are going to interview everybody, and we're going to shake the trees and see what lands. But in the end, we're going to get the best possible people at each coaching position that we can get. Let's not forget, they also brought back Patrick Ewing. I do believe in karma. I do believe in good energy and aura, and bringing back Patrick Ewing was a big part of that too. Shout out to the Knicks for bringing back Pat. But Mike Brown had to deal with everything. Had to deal with the guy's been fired 5 times. How do you put your trust and the keys to an organization in the hands of this man who has never gotten it done on any level by himself? He's won championships, but as an assistant coach, with other coaches being the shot callers. That was the question that everybody was asking. But, I will say that, and there's a video about Mike Brown that I think I'm going to play probably on Saturday. Mike Brown had a lot to do with winning basketball. And even when Golden State, when Kerr went out because of health reasons or other issues, Mike Brown was running that team. And they weren't missing a beat. Just stuff to think about. Just stuff to consider. But Mike Brown had to come in and change everything around. Give this Knicks team a new offense, a less predictable offense, a more flowing, functional offense that relied on people moving around, trusting each other, moving the basketball, less predictable, but passing the ball to find the good shots, good opportunities. As he likes to say, spraying. And also, they also went away from necessarily playing drop coverage on the defensive side all the time and being a little bit more dynamic on the defensive side. Still using drop coverage, but using it differently. Very important. Shout out to Brandon O'Connor. And then last but not least, and then these are the really key moves, folks. That obviously other moves that have happened, but these are the really key moves. They were able to trade Gershon Yabusele, right? Get off of that contract, get a little help with the money, use that money. I could have put Jordan Clarkson up here as well, but they brought in Jordan Clarkson. Shout out to him. Because I will say Jordan Clarkson has had moments where he's definitely helped this road this year. I don't know if I could say he's been as impactful to be one of the biggest key moves to building a champion on this list, but he was definitely a part of it. But I think the bigger move here is the signing of Jose Alvarado. Because Jose Alvarado came here what most of us all feeling down about him, right? Just saying we don't understand it. Why is he a small guard coming here to be in a backcourt, possibly with Jalen Brunson? How does this work? How do we go from small to smaller, right? Then there was questions about his defense. In the last 2 years, it took a little bit of a dip. He wasn't the same, pest defensively that he's shown to be in his career. So we were like, well, what are we going to get from him? We obviously know offensively, he's not the best offensive player. He can shoot a three here and there, score a layup or something, get something going in transition. But, we don't see a lot of scoring coming from Jose Alvarado. He's a very good role player that just fills in, right? So what can we expect from him? And he came in and kind of didn't really know his role and how to really do things. He had to find his way. And of course, he did get exposed defensively. That height, not necessarily stepping up defensively the way we would hope he could. We had to see all that. We had to witness it play out, and he had to learn from it and feel comfortable here. The other thing, too, is we found out that the reason why they went out to get Alvarado is because Deuce was going down. We didn't know about that. That was a major blow. And that made it a little more tolerable. We started to say, okay, now we get it. Now we know why Alvarado's here. We needed another ball handler. Even if he has some stuff that may have changed over the past couple of years, it was worth it to have somebody who has some good speed, who was a little pesky, you know what I mean, but who could handle the ball. So Alvarado looked a lot better. And then as the season progressed, by the time we got into the playoff stretch, Alvarado started to look a lot better. He was averaging around 4 or 5 assists a game in a backup role, looking much more commanding of the offense, getting the bigs, good touches. And so for some of the people that weren't happy with Jalen Brunson's, willingness to pass the ball to teammates, Alvarado was a breath of fresh air outside of Tyler Kolek, who we know would do that. Then we get to the NBA playoffs, and Jose Alvarado steps up and takes his game into the next gear. Not only is he still being a great ball handler and a good distributor, but he's hitting timely baskets, big baskets to help us blow teams out, right? He's playing great defense, pesky, stealing the ball, but also playing good one-on-one defense, even at his size. Like kind of a resurgence from the defense that we used to see Alvarado do. So now that acquisition looks golden. So once again, the road to an NBA championship started with Leon Rose. Well, once again, it started with James Dolan being accepting of not knowing what he doesn't, not knowing things about how to run a basketball team, understanding that he failed under the Phil Jackson plan, understanding that the Steve Mills, Scott Perry thing didn't quite get us where we needed to be, but we did build up a little war chest of draft picks. We had a little cachet. But knowing that he had to go out and get Leon Rose, who in turn got Tom Thibodeau, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns, Jose Alvarado, then eventually, Mike Brown, and not to mention the additions of Gerson Rojas and Casey Smith. That's it, folks. That's how you do it. Shout out to the New York Knicks, 2026 NBA champions. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. They did it. They did it. Let me see my guys. Shout out to Nick Yak in the building. ISO 45 points, won the clinching game. Definitely, 100%. This is why you can't take somebody away from what they do and say, we're never going to need that again. You need to do whatever it takes to win a basketball game. If we realize that it makes more sense for everybody to get involved and move the ball, then that's plan number one, right? But if in plan number one is, execution, if you realize that guys just don't have it, if the ball's moving and guys ain't knocking down the shots or the defense is clamping down, the guys can't get free, and you got a weapon like Jalen Brunson on your team that can go get a bucket no matter who's guarding them, you got to unleash him. And that's what happened. That is what happened. Shout out to L, damn it, in the building. What up, L? Let's go. Good to see you. Oh, man. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. We try. I didn't have a lot of time, but I did what I could with the amount of time I had, so I tried to put it together quick in between my work. It is what it is. Shout out to Lonnie Meeks in the building. Said today's Knicks don't have an enforcer like Oakley. I hear you, bro. I hear you. 713 gamer in the building. Flickerty, what up? D. Grant asked, Ron, what is your take on Tibbs? Do you think he could have taken the Knicks to the finals? To me, he was rigid, no diversity on offense or defense. And I think I think you answered it, D. Grant. I think that was the issue. And I think if you guys saw James Dolan's speech to the Knicks 10 weeks before the playoffs, he basically said it. He said the reason why they had to get on from Tibbs and go in a different, way. They needed somebody who was willing to listen to the players and to the fellow coaches. They thought it's better to get an open-ended scenario where you can get knowledge and different ideas from different people rather than everybody having to hear from one person, and it's one person's leadership that is going to get you to the promised land. No one person has all the answers, right? So the ability to be more open-ended and listen to other voices is important. And I think that's part of the reason why the Knicks won the championship. 100%. Got to be willing to adapt, got to be willing to listen, and also be willing to accept that you don't have all the answers. So I definitely think it was time. I think they made the right call and the right change at the right time. Now, don't get me wrong. If they would have brought in Mike Brown and Mike Brown would have came in and just been different from Tibbs, but had his own way of doing things, just like a baby Tibbs, the same exact way, I'd have been like, what is this? This is terrible. But he didn't. That's what a lot of people, when Mike Brown got hired, everybody was like, hey, he's just like Tibbs. Actually, he's not like Tibbs. I mean, he's similar in principle, but he's more open-ended, more willing to listen to people, more willing to share the spotlight with others, let other people lead the team, let other people handle the timeouts, let other people come up with ideas, listen to the players. Hey, this ain't working for me tonight, coach. We might want to try this. I'm telling you, he's listening. That's the difference. Wolverine, he says, I can't believe this knucklehead coach helped the Knicks win a chip. Brown proved me wrong. That's all we want, Wolverines. That's all we want, brother. Acceptance. That's it. That's all. We champs. I shouldn't say we. I'm not getting the ring, but. And first off, shout out to James Dolan. How did y'all feel if any of y'all saw what he said to the players? How did y'all feel if you saw it when he said, guess what, guys? For the next 10 weeks, I need y'all to lock in, but I need your significant others, your spouses to lock in. I need them to understand how important this situation is and how we need you guys focused. So for the next 10 weeks, whatever they need, they have to make do, basically understanding that I need to let my man or whoever it is do what they got to do and leave them alone. Let them focus on the one thing that they're trying to accomplish. And he said, this was crazy. He said that every significant other, every spouse, every girlfriend will get a championship ring. You guys know these championship rings ain't cheap, right? These joints be $1 million plus, depending on what how you bling it out. Every wife, every significant other, girlfriend is going to get a championship ring. He even went so far as to say, if you don't have a wife or don't have a girlfriend, you got somebody that you is close in your life that you feel is helping you through this process, they'll get a ring too. What? I was like, damn. Shout out to James Dolan, man. Man, I wish I knew one of these players, yo. One of these single players that they're like, yo, that's my boy, that's my partner. You know what I mean? Bling, bling. You know? I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just a beautiful thing, man. Just a beautiful thing. All right. Well, that's pretty much my time, folks. Let me just read through everything, say what's up to everybody, because this is our moment, folks. We are fans of an NBA championship team. Can you believe it? Gideon Almanqua G Money in the building says, salute. We finally reached the mountaintop. I know. I can't believe it either, bro. Man. Let me see here. The Mrs. Knicks experiences in the building. Salute. What's good? I know you happy. Champs, that's a fact. Thank you for being here and rocking with us. She says, still in disbelief, Ron. We've been waiting our whole life. I know. Crazy. Wild. But I'm so happy. Like, it could look right now was the right time. It happened when it needed to happen. We wasn't ready for it before, but we're ready now. Ribby in the building. What up, Ribby? Good to see you, my brother. He said, mind you, we had Ryan. I know we had Arki Diacono. We had the Villanova 5 for real. We could have had him at least. Yeah. I know, Rob. The refs wasn't calling anything, brother. I hear you. Dwayne Dennis in the building. Salute, Dwayne. Good to see you, my guy. Nick Yak says Alvarado will opt out to get minutes he can't get here. More money next year. Kolek gets that role. Pacome gets Clarkson role. I can see that. I mean, look, like I said, I don't have a problem with these young boys. Give them a shot, but give them a shot or let them go. Make a decision. Ron Mills in the building says the silly things I see, chat, we overpaid. We are champions. What else do you want? We got to be happy, y'all. We knew, but the whole thing is, got to understand, we knew we were going to overpay. That was the plan. That was the goal. You overpay to get to this point. Because remember, you can't look at this and say the Knicks didn't want to win a championship or wasn't trying. They had a plan to win. We questioned it. We didn't know if it was going to work, but it did work. So now that it worked, you have to understand this was their plan. So you can't take that away from them. Overpaying, but getting it done. If I told you, listen, we're going to go out and trade RJ Barrett and Manuel quickly for OG Anunoby. We're going to bring in Cat and get rid of Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo. We are going to sign Jalen Brunson. We are going to trade for Josh Hart and trade Cam Reddish and a first-round pick for Josh Hart. And and we are going to bring in Mike Brown as the head coach, and we are going to win a championship doing this stuff. Y'all would have said, you are crazy. You would have said, what? Ain't no way. And we're going to bring in Mikal Bridges and trade 5 first-round picks for him. And we're going to win a championship when it's all said and done. Y'all would have been like, what? Are you nuts? Y'all would have had me hit the button to jump out the window, the know the ledge button. Y'all would have been like, what? No way. Yes way. It happened, folks. 27 in the building says Dolan is the best owner in the league. I'm happy you happy. Ron Mills says, I know as a fan, I locked in for the past 10 weeks. I hear that. Ralph is in the building. Knicks podcast. Salute, going to the parade? Yes, sir. I will be there. I'm taking a day off. I'm trying to get us all up and meeting together, trying to meet up with everybody that I know. And we'll see. Definitely will be, if anything, I'll be posting something maybe tomorrow or the morning of, and on the channel, and letting people know how we are intending to meet up if I can, because I don't want it to be crazy either. Like, I don't want to say, hey, we're all gonna meet here, and then there's like 1,000 people there. I'm like, whoa. Hey, wasn't expecting that. Let me see. Yeah, no, really, bro, really. Like, what I just said sounds crazy. You can never imagine that that's going to result in an NBA championship. Wild. But hey, it is what it is. So, and I'm sorry, guys. I know that I said I was going to send the link out there so we could talk a little bit, but the problem is I am scheduled to do another podcast at 9:30. This ain't a live podcast, so it's a taped podcast with my peoples, and they're going to be talking about some other stuff, the Knicks championship run and things like that. So I'll be on there with them. I'll let you guys know. I'll put it on X or Instagram whenever it drops. But I've done this show from time to time. Those are my peoples, man. So I'm about to do that at 9:30, but in between that, I need to eat dinner. So unfortunately, I would love to chop it up a little longer, but I also need a break to be able to get myself right so I can continue. But I just want to say thank you to everybody once again. I'm so excited and so happy for the moment. I'm happy that you guys are all here to witness the moment, that you've been a part of this thing, and that it's happening for all of us, man. I'm so happy for my fellow fans, bro. We finally got to this point. Like I talk about this all the time. In the 90s when I was dealing with the Knicks and watching them being a fan, you know how many times I had to get into arguments and go back and forth with all the fans, that were fans of the Bulls and other teams because the Knicks could never get over the hump. Fans of Indiana. I had to deal with all of that in the 90s in the lunchroom. You know what I mean? Between spades and eating the square pizza with my chocolate milk. That's what I was dealing with. It was crazy. It was a lot. It was tough. But we got through it. To the point where now we're here talking about the NBA champion New York Knicks. Unbelievable. Anyway, guys, you know what I always say. I want to say thank you once again to all you for the support that you give still Knicks fans, but also the support for the New York Knicks, man. Us fans have been there for them. And shout out to all the content creators once again, because as I say, you can say whatever you want. Content creators had a lot to do with keeping the fans together and keeping us all level-headed, because the type of information that we were getting from analysts, from the BSPNs of the world and all these other haters that didn't think the Knicks had a chance. If we listened to all these people and had no other alternative, no other place to hear about Knick content, how would life be? If all we got to hear was BSPN and all these guys, the Paul Pierces of the world, say the Knicks can never win a championship. They stink. The Becky Hammonds, you can never win a championship with a small guard. Can you imagine? Could you imagine? Unbelievable. That would be a nightmare if we didn't have any alternatives. So shout out to my fellow content creators for doing the damn thing and keeping us afloat, having us to have good platforms and places where we can vent and then also learn information, have constructive conversations, all of that. Shout out to all of them. Appreciate y'all. Anyway, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming. Tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still, Knicks fans, we'll be back again, whether it be on Monday nights at 9 p.m. For SKF Weekly. Obviously, we did a SKF Weekly today because I couldn't do it yesterday. Or if it's on Saturdays at 11:30 a.m. for Know the Ledge. You know how we do Saturday's #1 show for Nick content. You know how we give it up. So, stay tuned. We're going to be here, man. We're going to be here. Hey, Travel Vibes, you missed the show, but the replay on this one is good, I think. I think we talked about some good stuff, so hopefully you enjoy it. And I appreciate you, Travel Vibes. And you guys know what I always say. Be good. And if you can't be good at it, right? So, I try to make sure that this is always one of my closing statements, right? Because it matters. But it's never felt like this, right? I always say, through the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, no matter what, we are still Knicks fans. But guess what, folks? We are NBA champions. We are fans of an NBA champion. What good? What bad? What ups? What downs? This is great. That's all it is. Just great. Like Tony the Tiger. Great. All right, I'm not doing that. I'm done. Listen, this is incredible, folks. Yes, incredible. Stay tuned. Like I said, I will be doing an NBA draft special. The last thing I want to leave you guys with is the naysayers are still out there, right? We're already starting to see projections for next year, the power rankings. The Knicks are looked at questionably. This has been the most incredible playoff run in NBA history. Whether you want to accept it or not, the Knicks did the damn thing, okay? All right? This is going to go down as one of the best playoff runs in NBA history. You can't take that away. You can't take it away. So, in my opinion, let the people talk. Let the haters and the naysayers say whatever they want about what they think has taken place. We know the real. We know what we've witnessed. We know what's happened. It's been incredible. An incredible moment, an incredible run. People start to talk about, the Knicks path, right? But I'm going to say this one more time. The Knicks path was only as easy as it was because they made it easy. Shout out to the Atlanta Hawks for helping wake the Knicks up. But the Knicks, after that, took control, made their way. Made their way. Atlanta went up 2-1, lit a fire under the Knicks. The Knicks never looked back. Closed them out in miraculous fashion. 51 points. 51-point lead. Incredible. Then they played the Philadelphia 76ers. Everybody said Philadelphia's going to beat the Knicks. Okay. Philadelphia played Boston, got the Boston Celtics up out of there in 7 games. Well, Boston was a number 2 team. They were looked at blah, blah, blah. So then what happens? Oh, well, Boston got beat by Philadelphia because Tatum wasn't quite right. The Celtics was running through teams without Tatum. Tatum came back. He had a triple-double. He was looking good. Now all of a sudden he gets to the playoffs. Oh, well, Tatum's not quite right. So, this means nothing. That Philadelphia beat them in 7 games and the Knicks swept Philadelphia. Okay? Thank you. Then you have the big bad Detroit. They play the Cleveland Cavaliers. They had the second best record in the league for most of the league. I mean, for most of the year. Ran through the East, ran through the West. Dealt with Cleveland Cavaliers with James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, and the bunch. Took them to 7 games, and Cleveland beat Detroit. And Detroit had their players. It's not like Detroit was missing their players. Detroit had their players. But their players, some of their players got exposed, and different things happened because Cleveland played them a certain way. Did anybody say, "Oh yeah, Detroit was a fluke"? They're all this stuff. No, Detroit was supposed to beat the Knicks. Remember? Then Cleveland beat Detroit in 7. So if Cleveland beat Detroit, and we know Detroit was good, Cleveland's going to beat the Knicks. What happens? The Knicks sweep Cleveland in excellent fashion. Oh well, they swept them, and so that means the East is whack. There's no way. Then it's, okay, well, whoever comes out of the West is going to win the championship, no matter who comes out the East. Knicks go to the finals. They play San Antonio. They beat San Antonio 4-1. Yes. Were the games close? Yes. There was defense being played? Yes. San Antonio had leads in each of these games in the first quarter. But do people forget that the New York Knicks was the best fourth quarter team in the NBA all season? Huh? Did we forget that? Did we forget that the Knicks were the best fourth quarter team in basketball? Huh? I guess we did. I guess none of that matters, right? Everybody's just concerned. Well, San Antonio had the lead. They got out to a lead. Does it matter how you start a game, or is it how you finish? You guys tell me. Does it matter how you start a race or how you finish the race? What are we talking about here? Am I the only one that thinks this is ludicrous? This is crazy? Everybody's talking about how San Antonio gave up their leads. They lost these games. Don't you have to finish the game with a lead, right? What happens when a good team that gets off to a lead has to play a great team that finishes great? What happens, right? That's the issue. But whatever. I digress. And then people talk about, well, you know what? If the OKC Thunder were able to beat the New York Knicks, beat the New York Knicks, was able to face the New York Knicks, it might have been a different story, right? Because San Antonio showed they were inexperienced, they were young, their coach didn't necessarily know what to do because he hasn't had the experience. You know, OKC's the returning champions. They know how to deal with the moment. They would have handled the Knicks better. Would they? Because I got news for everybody. This ain't the same team. This was not the same team that started the regular season, that played through the end of the regular season, 82 games. The New York Knicks team, after they were down 2-1 to the Atlanta Hawks, became a different team. I don't know. And I said this before. I told you the only team I was worried about was OKC. But after watching how the Knicks changed in the playoffs, how they were playing, I said, I take them against anybody now. So you can't tell me that if OKC was playing the Knicks, that OKC would have automatically won. Nope. I don't believe that. Sorry. OKC had their hands full with Wemby and the Spurs, right? The inexperienced Spurs. Does that not matter then, right? Everybody just wants to hate. Everybody doesn't know how to congratulate or appreciate. We know the real fans. We know what's real. We get it. And all I got to say is, for those out there that will continue to say, well, you know, things would have been a lot different if the New York Knicks would have played the OKC Thunder in the finals. All I can say to you is, I guess we'll never know.
New York Knicks. First. Go Knicks.
we can finally, start playing, man. So much talk this whole summer. It's felt like so long because we've had so much to talk about. At times it's been kind of slow, but we've been talking, right? But we've actually had a really good off season for this New York Knicks team, and it's been very active. There's been a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, Knicks family, we in the building. I am the Objective fan from the Objective Knicks fan channel, and I'm gonna give a big salute to Ron and John from Still Knicks fans.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Knicks family, I'm Stephanie, aka Queen, no soul sports talk and
Still Knicks.
What's going on, everybody?
It's your girl, Lady and the Chef, from Two Knicks Chicks Podcast. Still a Knicks fan.
What's good, party people in the place to be? It's your main man.
What's up, everybody? This is Steve Block 21 at Two Knicks Chicks Podcast, and I'm still a Knicks fan.
Yo, this is your boy Sim from Nothing But Knicks. Through all the struggles, through all the heartache and pain, ladies and gentlemen, I am still a Knicks fan.
Peace, y'all. This is Apollo Reed from the Garden Knicks crew. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm still a Knicks fan.
I'm still here. We're still here. Still Knicks fans. It's a fandom. It's a lifestyle.